This conference will now be recorded.
All right. So good to see Mark and Robert back. And Glenn, good to see you on here. And NUC, how are you?
That's actually my computer name. My name's Ron.
Hey, Ron, how are you?
All
So
right.
is this your first time on?
No, I've been on before, but it's first time I went out and bought a camera and audio so I could talk.
Okay. Okay, cool, cool. So do you already have your laser? Are you just looking or?
I already ordered it. I'm just waiting for delivery.
Okay, awesome, awesome. How about you, Glenn? What's your status?
Um, just waiting.
I got you. I
It
got you.
they told me end of January, early February. So I'm full of questions and
Sure.
just trying to get prepared. So,
Okay. Well, since you are full of questions, I probably should have asked Ron. But since I've already moved over to you, why don't you knock your questions out and then we'll run back to him real quick and then we can take some others afterwards.
okay.
So,
There's three of them. Two of them are kind of related. First one, I seen where it's going to come with a stick to program RD Works and I guess whatever the software is for the actual laser.
mhm,
If I'm going to be using the light burn, so I got the 51-130 on order.
mhm.
I'm going to be using light burn. So do I need to install RD Works first or do I?
You don't need to. If
No.
you're going to work in Lightburn, if you've used neither one, I would prefer just starting right in Lightburn and just not even bother with RD Works. Some people still do use it, but for the most part, Lightburn is going to be your best option. So you
Okay.
can just go straight from there. And I think I've got a mock. I don't know if you've been on our support site, but
Yeah, I've been on there quite a bit.
okay,
I
I've got an
I know I need to
article.
find that. You got certain settings in there for the 51-130 probably, and then
Yeah, but as far as you're looking at the back side. Let me see the front side. As far as the mock setup, you could go ahead and set this up to the size of your machine, and there's a little video about it, so that you can emulate what exactly the bed size and everything on your machine is going to be in Lightburn, and you can go right there and download it on that link, and there's a little video to help you through. So
awesome,
that'll
awesome.
help as far as that goes. And the other one that I like to show is this important preparation. This is the cheat sheet. This pretty much has everything you need to know about setting up and using your machine.
Yeah, I've,
So
I've read through that quite a bit, and I don't know, maybe I'm one of those people that I start reading the paragraph and I start skipping 4 words and reading three, and I can't read a
right,
book in one sitting. So,
sure, sure.
um, continuation to that question, and maybe a little bit different.
Hmm.
I see a lot of people are using AI,
Hmm.
and then importing it to Lightburn and then doing stuff in Lightburn.
Hmm.
Should I get AI also and start messing with that? Because I'm not real good with all that stuff, but I mean, I'm not.
If you're
But
beginning and you don't already use some sort of vector suite like Illustrator or Inkscape, Inkscape is free. It's an open source
okay,
vector editor, and it's very robust. If you don't want to pay those software as a service fees for Adobe, um,
okay,
Inkscape is good. Now, if you're just starting off and you haven't been in any of those vector suites, though, you might find that Lightburn will have all the tools you need to actually design within the program itself without having to go outside. Some of the heavy lifting and some people that are used to software and just have used it for ages, Corel Draw, Illustrator, or whatever, then they would usually export and just use Lightburn more as a control software. But it does have a full design suite with advanced node editing and all kinds of tools in it. So you may need nothing else. A lot of people don't need anything but Lightburn.
okay. That's good to know. That's what I yeah. Because I'm thinking of go ahead and doing the free version, and then I know it's going to run out before I get the computer or whatever. I should have it fully paid off. So I'm sure this is a question for Rebecca or whatever, but when I
As
fully pay it, will they give me the license at that point or?
Yes, yeah. As soon as you're
Okay,
paid up, they send you a license in the email. And if there's a little bit of lag time between that, if you email support@lightburnsoftware.com and ask them to extend your trial and tell them that you have a machine on the way, it's just not quite here yet, they'll be glad to do that for you.
okay, awesome. All right, and then I'm sorry for the take so much time.
No, go ahead.
The last question is, or last question really is, yeah, I do. I want to photonics that reverse uh, alignment tool that he has. I've seen a lot of people having really good success with that. And I mean, one of the things before I even do my first job on the machine, I want to know everything's right. So I'm not chasing something already that I may have not done. So when I called him, he didn't have the diameter for the tube to sell me the correct one. So he asked me if I can get that information so that he could send me that diameter.
Yeah, they're 21 millimeters, and I've got one. I haven't tested it yet because I haven't had to adjust my machine since it came out of the box. I haven't had a need to align it, so I don't want to do it until I have to. But I have one of his alignment tools, and I've got a set of his optics on the way too, and we may offer those if I'm going to do a comparison between the stock optics and the APC optics as far as caloric power output, and the whole bit. And that may be something we offer as a premium optic package as well. So, and we may offer those alignment tools, but it's a 21 millimeter is what you need.
21 millimeter. Okay, awesome. I guess on exactly what you're saying now, also on his optics, I ordered, when I ordered it, they did help me out a little bit by ordering more accessories. So I did order both the heads, the 4-inch and the 1.5, and the camera. But in saying that, I mean, should I maybe go to something like this instead and maybe not order those heads?
As far as the optics, well, the different focal optics will help you for different things. The 4-inch is good for things over 10 millimeters in thickness, things like that. And then the high resolution lens, of course, is for doing ultra high detail, photorealistic imaging and that kind of thing. Changing optics, his optics may be a little bit better. I don't know what the factory puts in their machines. I know that we in Thunder Laser USA in Texas, our replacement optics are made by 2.6, and they are a world leader in laser optics, like APC. So both of them are good. You may see a little more benefit with the APC because they use silicon mirrors and they're gold plated. So there's a little bit more reflectivity there. The drawback to that is those mirrors are very, very delicate, and they're very easily scratched, and the coating can become fouled very easy if you don't maintain them properly. So our mirrors that we use are MO mirrors, they're Moly mirrors, and they stand up to quite a bit of cleaning and abuse without having to worry so much.
Okay.
There are a few little differences there.
Okay. I should probably just go and keep those on order then and work through. Yeah. Okay.
I would say so. I typically like to tell everybody to put their machine together with all the stock options and see where it takes them. And then if they decide that they need to push the boundaries and go outside, the things that the laser can do, then you can start adding those performance accessories to help accentuate that. So.
Okay. Awesome. All right. That was all my questions. I appreciate the answers again. As the last couple of times, y'all are awesome. Thank you.
Cool. No sweat. Mark, I think you were going to say something earlier. Did you have anything?
Well, I had a discussion with Jason Dory with regard to vector editing programs, and I'm struggling learning CorelDRAW now, but I mentioned to him that I said from what I've seen, and I use Vectric software, Aspire. I've got some exposure to CorelDRAW now and Lightburn, and I'm telling you, Lightburn is my go-to. It's just so easy to use. It's got excellent node editing capabilities, and to address Glenn's concern, I think that's really a nice package. Once you get used to it, you're going to find it's very robust.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, Mark, if they could put a VCarve function in it for the CNC machine, right? I wouldn't even need the Vectric software anymore, but hadn't figured out how to do inlays with the laser like the VCarve yet.
Yeah, but it's pretty neat stuff.
One other thing along those lines that I've noticed, right? The trace functionality in there, right? Any tool that you could do, back to paint, drawing something on paper, Google SketchUp, editing something, anything that you can draw in, you can trace it, right? If you've got, especially if you've got a white background with black lines, the trace functionality is great. So your creation software, you're virtually endless. You don't need to get into Adobe Illustrator or CorelDRAW, right? I've done a lot with Google SketchUp over the years with 3D printing and 3D modeling and stuff like that. And I'm real good with my shortcuts and hotkeys in there, so I can draw stuff very quickly there. There's an export function there, but I can also just screenshot it, paste it into Lightburn, and then trace it. And it covers what I need.
Yeah, so there's a lot of tools there at your ready whenever you need them. So cool. Thanks for joining us, Jeremy. Let me run back to Ron real quick. We kind of said hi to him and left him high and dry. So do you have anything you wanna go over?
I had a question about venting. I see a lot of the vents going out high in the room. Is that preferred, and if so, why?
I did mine totally random, and mine's up high, probably about 6 feet. One reason is I wanted my fan up where I could actually access them easy, so I could just stand there and pop that center section out and clean them easy. Also, just to have it above, everyone's nose level, hopefully it'll go up more, but there's no reason why it has to be, I don't think. A lot of people do that just because they think higher is better, and it may be, but I don't know that there's a rhyme or reason to it.
Mine's high for a very good reason. My laser's in the basement.
Yes, that'll definitely do it.
Is there anything that comes out the vent, or is it pretty clean?
It's pretty clean. Let me kick that back on if I can get it. So, that basically goes straight out to the 6-inch vent. That's a 4-inch on that Odin. But yeah, that's literally all you see. That stubs out right here at this area. So it just goes straight from the laser there. Real short run. I tried to keep my high pressure side as short as possible here, because that's going to be pressurized on this side, whereas this will all have a vacuum, which is what you want throughout most of the plenum. So you just basically want to get your exhaust fan as close to the actual outlet as possible.
So Brian, I see the other machine is down again from our competition.
This one?
Yeah.
Oh yeah, that's a Gravagrav. That was a barn find. I picked that up for about $50, and it's got a Firestar V30 Synrad tube in it that still fires.
There you go.
Everything works. So yeah, side project, but I don't have much time. It's been sitting there for 2 weeks and I haven't touched it. So all right. It looks like we have a couple of new people. Hey, Ron, good to see you again. Jason, glad you could join us. Patrick, Jay, I'm not sure if you've been on here before. I see Danny. Let me grab him real quick. His mic's already on.
Yes.
How you doing?
Fine.
Good.
I'm visiting. I'm getting close to pulling the trigger, and so I just want to sit in. And I enjoyed seeing the 20th, November the 20th, and I think Ron was getting ready to pull the trigger or pull the trigger that week, I believe. And I'm really enjoying the webinar. It's really informative to a lot of the gaps and the things that I'm having to catch up on.
Did Ron
order?
Sir?
Did he order?
I did.
Oh, yeah.
What'd you get?
Can you still hear me? Sorry, I accidentally put my computer to sleep. 35, number 3580.
Okay.
Good luck.
Yep.
So I did the Black Friday sale. So, or
There was a Black Friday sale?
I did Cyber Monday technically. So I bought the 51 130 on Monday.
Did I miss a Black Friday sale?
No,
there wasn't any discounts or anything.
Oh,
but
okay,
yeah,
Gotcha.
Yeah.
remember,
Yeah.
no sales from us.
That's what I thought. I was like, I thought there was like they never go on sale.
It was just expedited shipping. Right?
Oh, gotcha. I got really excited the other day because Brian, if you saw on Facebook, I had like ordered your little air assist conversion kit or whatever. And I got a laser or a thunder laser shipment notification, and I'm like, oh, my laser's on its way, and it was just the air assist conversion.
That guy over there does the same thing. You get like the rotobosses, you get the shipping notification, and you think the laser's on its way, and then your rotoboss shows up, and you gotta sit with that on your lap for about 30 days.
Oh, 30 days, you're doing good.
I mean,
Speaking of rotoboss, Jason, I got my wheels that you had sent over, the larger diameter wheels for the low roller, and I have a question. So the reason I bought these was so I could put a rolling pin or something on the low roller, and it would clear the brackets, so I can do longer items. So when I replace the other wheels, what functionality do I lose with the existing setup?
You're going to reduce your circle pulse by about half.
Reduce what?
Are you talking about for your settings?
No, not the settings. I figure I'm going to have to recalibrate. But you had mentioned, I think on a phone conversation or something, that I won't be able to do certain items with these larger diameter wheels. And something had something to do with like maybe a real large tumbler or something. Is that?
Well, maybe I misunderstood what you were asking, but the only thing you're going to be limited on is your space, your head space, with the larger wheels, because the larger wheels set everything up a little bit higher in the machine.
Right.
So depending on your head space or headroom that you have, I mean, it may change slightly, but nothing that should be a great issue or a big issue.
Then all I have to do is just take the belt tension off, loosen the collars, put these new ones in, and recalibrate.
Yep. And if for some reason you find, because the shafts on those are fairly long, as you can tell, you can actually flip those around on the slave wheel side, so you can get another 2 to 3 inches of support on the back side of the rotary. That makes sense. So instead of the wheels going through from the inside out, they go from outside in, and the collar would go on the inside,
right,
giving you about an extra 2 to 3 inches of length to the rotary to help support any kind of material or whatever you might put on there.
Okay, thank you.
And then also, since you have the small wheels and the big wheels, you can use them in combination on that now with like a growler. You can use the big wheels on the motor side, the small wheels on the slave wheel side. That way you can have a better offset and be able to level everything off.
Good. Thank you.
Yep.
So, Jay, I don't think we've gotten to you yet. How are you?
I'm good. Let me know if you can hear me or not. I had some audio issues right beforehand.
Yeah, we can hear you.
Good deal. Yeah, I just found this group the other day. Haven't really looked into it much. I haven't watched any of the past videos, but just thought I'd jump on to see what it was all about. I actually have a Mars 160.
Oh, okay.
I think it is. It's I guess an older machine. Just through wheeling and dealing, I wound up with it from some meth head. So I'm learning what it's all about.
We don't have those kind of meth heads where I live.
Yeah.
They don't ever have it. They don't have anything of value normally.
So, do you have any questions, or you just kind of?
Yeah, I kind of got a little list of questions. I really just need help with like doing an overhaul of the machine. I've been running it off and on for a year or two now. Yeah, there's a little piece up there. I can kind of get there. Some quirks with the machine I'm trying to learn. Using Hardy works with it. I don't have the little red laser combiner on there, so I just have to kind of guess where I'm putting things. Getting around with it by shining a light through one of the mirrors and kind of judging that way. Yeah, I just need some help kind of setting it up better than what it is and doing a little overhaul. Like I think some of the stepper motors or the servo motors that actually raise and lower the bed are having issues where they're actually like, I thought the belt was actually slipping because it was, sound like a helicopter going off.
Mhm.
But, as I was pushing the button and looking under it, I could see that the head of it's actually not moving. So it's,
Gotcha.
you press up and down several times, back and forth, and it finally starts to come up, but then one side will come up over to the other. And,
Mhm.
if you're trying to level it out, like taking the bed all the way down, there's a good chance you might not get it back up that day.
Gotcha. Sounds like the lead screws may be in a bind, and we've got some documentation on that. The best thing for you, I don't have a lot of experience on the Mars line. The Nova series kind of took that over. They're built very similar. So I have a fair understanding, but I don't have specific wiring diagrams and things like that. I can get all that from China. But you can
That's what I'm looking at, is Chinese stuff.
Yeah. And most of the stuff you're going to see is going to be Chinese because, Thunder Laser USA has a bunch of US stuff, but that didn't start till the Nova series. So, but if you want to submit a ticket to support@thunderlaserusa.com and just fire off these things that you're having, we can provide documentation and stuff and help you in the support ticket system there. And China can access it as well. So they'll be able to collaborate.
Okay.
And
what do I do for getting parts?
Typically,
you got model numbers and everything, and I can just order some somewhere.
Yeah,
Upgrade.
typically you're probably going to be better off dealing directly with China because I'm going to have to relay pretty much everything through them. So they're going to have all of the information on that series. So, hey, Amy, how are you? Hi.
You're on mute.
Oh, there we go. I'm good. I finally hooked up the vent and took off the plastic wrap.
Awesome. Good.
Tree, so
Cool.
Getting
Awesome.
there.
Jay, sorry, I didn't mean to cut you off there a minute ago, but either way, we can do that support. If you'll do a support ticket to support@thunderlaserusa.com, we'll get you in touch with the right information to help you out with that. So, let's see. Well, we spoke to Danny. I don't know if he got a chance to get any questions out. Amy, do you have any questions? Or are you just kind of hanging out?
I'm just kind of hanging out right now, but actually let me formulate this before I actually say it so it makes sense when I
Oh, that's no fair.
We'll circle back.
Okay.
I need to formulate this.
Gotcha.
Brian, I've got a couple questions in the intro, but number one, I was wanting to come out to Tennessee since I'm over in North Carolina.
Okay.
And but I figured it out. It's 460 miles. So that's a little bit more than I overday trip for me.
Gotcha.
But we'll see. I'm interested. But you have a 35, right?
I do. I have a 3580. Mm-hmm.
Okay. If you had the choice, would you have got 100?
Sometimes I think that I would have, just so I can cut thicker things. But here's what's weird about me. I don't make a lot of stuff. I didn't get into lasers because I wanted to make products, and I got into it just because I'm a geek and I like technological things. So my outlook on this whole thing is probably a little different than everybody else's. So I don't do a lot of thick materials. So the 80 is fine for me. If you're going to cut, if cutting is going to be a big thing, if you were, for instance, making die sub blanks for people and things like that, and you were cut centric, you may want to go to the 100 because it'll save you some time on the cutting and you can cut thicker materials faster. For me, I think the 80 is fine. I can cut 3/4 inch acrylic. I can cut 1/2 inch ply, no problem. I just have to do it just a wee bit slower, than the 100-watt machines. But,
okay. I've got a CNC to do that part, so the part of it, but I just needed to add something else to make things a little sharper in my shop. I'm retired. I'm not trying to produce yet,
sure.
But I see the potential of things to do it. The next thing is the room. How much space do you need around your machine and whatever. I was just looking at your background just a minute ago.
Mm-hmm.
Are they on wheels or?
It's like
If you
a
ask
mini
folks
Cooper.
around here, they'll tell you you can fit a 51 in a one-car garage. So they encourage you to go bigger than you
Yeah,
probably should.
you can fit it in there.
Yeah. Now I've got about 1.5 feet, on 3 sides. Of course, I'm always in my machine also. I'm constantly in there taking stuff apart and looking at things and stuff like that. So I have to have pretty much full-time access all the way around it. So I've made a place to squeeze through. But yeah, and it's tough in a garage to get around if you have a bunch of stuff piled up for sure. I've got the dimensions so that you can actually see a footprint.
I picked the dimensions up, and I just didn't know how much available. I've got plenty of room, except they can get my ventilation squared away. So
Gotcha.
I'm needing to rearrange a few things for that.
Sure.
Johnny, a
The
thought
other
I
thing to think
have
too
is
is
for a 35, think of it as a Mini Cooper. That's about how much space you need around it.
Okay.
So if you can move around in the insides of a Mini Cooper area, that's your 35 right there. Anything higher, start thinking bigger car.
Okay.
yeah. The other thing to think about though, Danny, is if you're going to
35
use
Mini
the
Cooper?
pass through.
Amy disagrees. She thinks Mini Cooper is a little bit too small.
No, because I have a 63, and that's like the size of a Mini Cooper.
No, I meant all the
He's
space.
talking about the footprint. Yeah.
Oh, the foot. Oh, okay.
Yeah, your machine is the size of a Mini Cooper, so
I was
you
gonna
need the
say,
size
yeah.
of a Econoline van around it, right?
And I
Yeah,
only
a
know
Lincoln.
that because when they took it off, when they took it off the 18-wheeler, it was literally parked next to the Mini Cooper, and we're like, oh wow.
There's my 160 next to a Mustang.
Yeah. So, all right, cool. I see Steve on here, and I saw Nicolette. You've been here for a little bit. It looks like you might have a couple of questions. How are you?
I'm good. I don't really have any questions prepared. I'm just kind of hanging out. I have a Glowforge right now, and I worked on a Lodulaze and a Universal in college. So I have a business going with it, and I'm just kind of looking to upgrade.
Gotcha. Okay, good. Well, I'm glad you joined us. If you have anything, be sure and step in. We'll be glad to take your questions.
Thank you.
Yeah, 30% of the members are previous Glowforge users here.
Yeah, that's starting to really come up.
Yeah, 62% of statistics are made up on the spot.
Does it count that my wife wanted a Glowforge and I ended up with a 51 130?
I think that's the best thing you could have done.
Yeah, I'm hoping to end up with one. Those lead times almost pointed me a different direction, Brian.
Yeah, that makes me sick, and we have no control over that logistics stuff. But yeah, and we've even throttled back a little bit. Last year when the lead times got a little long, we actually turned off our Google ads just to reduce the traffic. I mean, no matter how many machines we get sold, and shipped this way, the list just keeps getting longer. So yeah, it's pretty crazy right now.
Yeah, just to hack you off, Jeremy, I got mine in 2 weeks.
Oh no. I'm looking at March, and I ordered mine this week.
Oh wow.
Yeah,
that's starting to be a huge pain point. It always is, but when you get past a month and a half or 2 months, it can be very painful.
Yeah.
I forget when I ordered mine, but I was told like mid-end December, and I'm hoping it comes before Christmas so that I can make some Christmas decorations with it, but we'll see.
Yeah, that's what allowed me to convince the wife was making Christmas decorations. And she said, all right, go ahead and get it. And I bought it. It says it's not going to be here till March. She said, well, don't you want to get one of them other ones that they had in stock? Oh, too late. Sorry.
Yeah. Well, you're getting ready for next Christmas.
You can just say like Easter decorations or something instead.
Yeah. So, let's see. Hey, Steve, how are you doing? I put him on the spot. Okay, he got it turned off. How about Kevin? You may be just kind of hanging out too. Is there anybody else that has any questions? I don't want to miss anyone. Oh, no problem. No problem. So how are you?
Trying to get some work done and
learn about some lasers.
Okay, cool. Well, if you have any questions, be sure and shoot. We'll be glad to answer them if we can. So,
I do have a
Wait.
Mhm.
Sorry.
Who's going? Amy, you go.
So, when Ryan unboxed his, he said that there was some kind of cushion thing behind the rail part in his machine. But when I opened mine, I didn't see anything in there to like take it out.
Brian, you're muted.
Mute.
There we go. When my machine came in, the gantry was, like wire tied together, so it wouldn't move anywhere, but I didn't really have any cushioning. The only cushioning I saw was on the tube itself.
On the tube, hold on, let me take you guys with me.
Okay.
Ooh, we're going on a trip with Amy. Where are we going?
Field trip. We need our permission slips.
Okay.
Oh, she has no problem with space. It took her 20
Yeah, that's
minutes.
what I was looking.
Well,
No wonder she got the 63.
I have like an actual warehouse, so I have plenty of space here. So,
Good.
hold on, let me.
You should house surplus machines for Thunder Laser US so they can help on the lead time. Okay?
So where am I looking?
So it should have been in the tube on the back.
On the back.
Mm-hmm.
Around the glass tube. Well, if you're looking to remove the cushioning, right, that's the only place I've seen it. Like Brian said, was it's around the glass tube in the back.
Oh, let me go in there.
All right, walk around the Mini Cooper.
No, she's got the van, not the Mini Cooper.
So this. Wait. Oh, because I need a key.
Yes.
Is that a 12-inch fan in the back?
16.
Is that just me, or is that thing as big as she is?
This is an S12.
Is it?
I did get it right. 12. Damn.
Wow, I didn't know they made a 12.
I went with the 12 because I have a 6 for my other one, and I feel like it doesn't really do anything. And then
makes noise.
Well,
I just bought a stick, so I hope it does something.
But I mean, it does. But my husband's very sensitive to smells, and I have big plans for this guy. So I was like, better invest in the extra.
It looks like you have a downsize though, right? To like an 8.
Yeah. What size is your plumbing? What size is your ductwork?
The top is an 8.
8, yeah.
Because the thing's like he compared it to an airplane engine.
Amy, are you finding a key inside the bed somewhere?
It's hooked up to the bed right
here.
here.
Don't use your little yellow card.
So I'm trying to cut it.
Yes.
Laser surgery happening right here.
Yeah, a live unboxing.
Here, Amy. You can borrow these.
Brand new.
I've got about 15 pairs of those. They come with every 3D printer you ever buy.
Yep. I've got to get another 3D printer. I get one and then I do nothing with it and I sell it and I get another one because I want it and I do nothing with it. So it's about time to do the cycle again.
The
3D
cutters.
3D printers aren't any good. They're junk.
The industry helps you, or the industry appreciates you encouraging development, Brian.
Right.
By investing in the current technology so they can.
Travis went to get his toolbox. He's going to help too.
Who?
See, at work, Brian, we've got a combination of lasers and 3D printers. So in the GE additive business, we actually like laser weld titanium, so you get like pure titanium dust, and then they actually use lasers to weld it and do the additive manufacturing, which is nice. I'm waiting on that technology to come down about $400,000 so I can afford it.
Right, exactly.
Yeah.
Does many of you guys remember me talking about my wife highly allergic to the epoxy last week?
Yeah, I remember
Yes.
that.
Yeah, here you go. This is her. This is her doing. She's.
Oh my
the
God.
beekeeper suit. There you go.
Wow. Have your neighbors never wondered what's going on over there?
That's where Jay bought that secondhand laser. Right? From
Pretty
Meth Lab
much.
down the street over there.
Interesting thing, Glenn, I used to work in the aerospace industry, and they epoxy potted a lot of coils, and the workers could work in there sometimes for years. And then one day they come into work, they develop this sensitivity to it, and they're done.
Just
I
all of
mean,
a sudden, out of nowhere, huh?
yep,
Yeah.
instantly.
Huh.
Yes, Amy, you can take that off. That's just for shipping control.
Okay.
They changed the color to black foam. It used to be white.
Yeah.
What about this orange tape? Do I?
I can't see it. Where is it?
Oh, let me.
No,
You
leave
can-
that alone.
Yeah,
that's
you can leave
that
everything
rubber
else
band.
alone.
Okay.
Don't touch that stuff.
I've never had to set it up before.
Don't worry, it's
easy.
just like a car.
Well, car's a little different because you just
It's the size of a car. Yeah.
grab the keys and go. Or at least I guess I do, anyways.
It's like restoring an antique car.
I haven't had the chance to do that yet. So this giant sticker that's on there, that stays too?
All that stays. Yeah, the only thing that has to come off is the foam.
Okay, so then I'm done with the back.
What you've got a 130 watt machine or 100?
Yes.
Okay. The 100 watt machines have a dust, some sort of dust filter tube that sticks in the end of the output coupler, but I don't think the 130s have that, so you shouldn't have to worry about that. It's just a little piece of brass, just a tube that sticks out the end of the laser, but I don't think you have that one. Zoom in on that a little bit. That's the output coupler, the metal part. Yeah, okay, I think you've got one too. See if that little piece on the end will slide out.
This?
Yeah. Does that pull out or is it in there good? Okay. Yeah. So that's a dust filter, a dust stopper, a dust fixture, dust reduction, whatever it is.
It's a dust device.
Yeah. So it just keeps the dust from settling on the inside lip of that output coupler, really.
Sorry, so do I put it back on or?
Yeah, put it back in. I wanted to make sure if you had one of those that it was there, because sometimes in shipping they'll roll around in the bottom of the laser and you won't find it, for a couple of weeks. So yeah, you're good.
So this looks good?
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
And does she still have to undo the screws on the sides or the front to get the panels to open up?
I know the right side upper panel has a screw or two in it, and the left side may also. So if you can't get a panel to open with the key, don't use a crowbar. And I can show you pictures, but I won't. But don't use a crowbar.
But the back part is good?
The back part is good. Mm-hmm.
Okay. We're going to close this back up then.
Wait, can you open that again one more time?
Do you want me to?
No, I'm just.
Yes, please. Do it twice, just in case.
Yeah. And while we help Amy set up her machine, if anybody has any questions, feel free to shoot.
Do I have enough room over here for that?
For the chiller?
Yeah.
You mean on the right-hand side? Not without an extension kit. You mean to relocate it from the left-hand side of the machine, or are you just talking about?
Like just I don't know how much space I need around it.
I'd leave a couple inches on either side of those grates so that it can get air at least.
Yeah, you need airflow or it doesn't work as well.
Yeah. I've got mine sitting kind of close to my machine, but it's not totally occluded. It's got a little bit of room. I'm about 3 inches away from my machine, I think. It just needs to be able to breathe.
Oh,
I mean, if that black filter starts turning gray or white, that's a bad sign.
Yeah, you should pop those filters out and check and clean them regularly. On the chiller, and that's in the manual, in the chiller manual. There's some documentation about that. We can help with that.
Especially since you're in the warehouse, you may want to check that a bit more often.
Supposed to clean those?
Chiller?
No, Jason, we're good. We don't ever use ours.
That's true. I think it gets
What's
more
this
used
one
as being
for?
on here than it does physically.
That is the tests that they run on your machine to look at the beam signature in that little piece of acrylic, and also to look at the beam signature on that piece of wood so that they can make sure that it looks good before they send it out. They do a couple of test burns.
Oh, okay, cool.
Is Chris Lassico on the forum here?
I'm sorry?
Is Chris Lassico? Is he here?
Chris, I don't think he's on. Wait, I don't know which Chris that is. No, because Chris usually shows up as tech support or something.
I saw a video that he posted recently about doing some maps, and one of the things that I noticed on there was he was engraving white painted hardboard. Has anybody ever used that material, and is it okay to use in the laser, or does it gunk anything up?
It's like chalkboard.
Are you talking about that dry erase board?
Yeah.
I've used it. I've used it in my K40 and it engraves fine. It's not any different than, acrylic or anything else. There's nothing in that coating that's dangerous that I know of. So
because it looks like it would be a nice contrast, when that white comes off.
Yeah, it does. I did a photo on one, and of course I'm not really good on photos, and it did a pretty good job on it. So
the white browns easily if you use too much power, though.
It's like a medium grayish brown, like underneath the white coating.
I have a question real quick.
Okay.
I have that Mars 160, and you may not know, but do you know if I would have already on it a motherboard or a driver board that would already support Lightburn? Because I've been using RDWorks.
If you're using RDWorks, it has a Ruida controller in it, so yes, Lightburn will be compatible with your machine.
So I can go right to it, right?
Absolutely. And it's a replacement for RDWorks, so it's laid out a lot. You'll recognize the similarities, but that's pretty much where it stops. It's so far more advanced than RDWorks. It's crazy.
Okay. Thank you.
I noticed when you upgrade Lightburn, it always asks you if you want to install the DSP drivers. You don't really need to do that, do you?
Not after the first time. I don't think they've changed. Sometimes I'll do it just to reload them, just because I'm weird that way. But typically, I don't think those drivers have changed in a long time, so it should be fine. You shouldn't have to do it every time.
So the DSP drivers work with the Ruida?
Correct. That's because of the USB chipset that Ruida uses in their controller. So it's specific to the Ruida. I'm trying to think. I don't have anything else. I know it's getting close to the end of the year, and hopefully we're gonna come out of the gates quick on 2021 and hopefully have a fiber. I'm really looking forward to that.
Is there a price range on that one? An estimated price range on that?
I'm in the market as well. I've already been demoing a couple other ones.
Let's see.
Will it be a combo fiber and CO2?
No,
that's what I was just going to say. Get a dual head one.
Yeah, dual source would be neat, like the Fusion, and that may be something on the horizon. But I haven't heard any talk of that.
This is a Galvo you're talking about?
Yeah, the one where is a fiber Galvo.
Okay.
Yeah. And
that was something I was looking real hard at. Cam 5's dual source one with the dual heads. And
yeah, I can't. I'm not real sure on what the price point's going to be on that. I'm sure they'll have some information come out pretty soon because I think they're going to launch it first of the year, or if not sooner. So,
do you know what source they'll use? It would be like a JPT or an SPI or anything?
I'm not sure. I know they're going to use that board that the EasyCAD works on for now.
EasyCAD 3 or 2?
I'm not sure. I can't find my email right now. I don't want to tell you the wrong thing.
Mhm.
Where'd my thing
You
go?
realize, Brian, I haven't even got mine set up yet. Now you're telling me that this is coming?
Yeah,
Oh,
no,
you
I'm gonna
haven't
cancel
taken
my
yours out of the
order.
box yet?
Oh.
No, I'm building a room in my garage to move my reloading room to make it bigger so I can have a laser room
Gotcha.
for just the fiber. Future retirement, you know how that goes.
Right.
Hey, Brian,
Sure.
are you guys going to be offering a CO2 Galvo?
Somebody asked about that, and again, you never know what they're going to come up with. You know, they can probably do whatever they want to do. They said that that's not something that they're looking at right at the moment. So, but you never know if there's enough call for it. You know, they've already got the fiber Galvo pretty much nailed. It would be hard to change the source. So,
yep. I'm not familiar with the Galvo terminology.
Pretty niche market, though.
Yeah.
I'm not super familiar with the terminology there. What's Galvo mean?
It actually, the head is kind of stationary. It's got some mirrors in it that move the beam back and forth that steer the beam.
Sprays it all over, yeah.
So it's
Yeah,
like,
you know how, like when you're at the grocery store, the scanners they use to scan your food, those are Galvo inside of there.
Yeah.
Gotcha. And what's the benefit to that over like
it's a smaller work area, but it's a lot faster.
Yeah, you don't need a motion system, right? It just sprays a laser on there,
Oh,
and burns it, so it doesn't have to move.
Well, the motion,
the
Galvo head.
Yeah.
Sorry, when you see like a video of like the like beam going like all the hell over, that's what it is.
It.
Okay, got it.
When you're using one of those things, are there any nasty fumes that come off of metal?
Yes.
Oh yeah.
Yeah. Most people run fume extractors if they're not venting, kind of like we do traditionally.
See those metal business cards right there that are going in the garbage because the fumes are horrible, and then they stink on the card afterwards. You can't.
Did you get those from Amazon?
I did. They're horrible.
Yeah, I've got some of those too.
Oh my God.
So, if you're engraving a gun, let's say a pistol or something like that, you have to be careful of the fumes.
Yes.
Yeah, you do, especially if it's Cerakoted.
Yes, I was going to say Cerakote's nasty, right? Anodized aluminum, like on an AR receiver, if it was an anodized aluminum, it's not as bad, right? But then the other thing, if you start getting into any of your polymers, right? So you're going to go playing around with like a Glock, your plastic pistols and stuff. Some of that stuff's real nasty as well.
Yeah. It's still
That's why I said
the laser.
That's why I said an S8 up.
The polymer.
Ron, did you just wave?
Had to see him.
Is that putting your hand up?
No, I see him just message in chat that he had to go, so I was like,
oh, okay.
I'm out too.
All right.
Yep. So Brian, they looking for affiliates to demo and beta test these fibers?
I'm not sure. I'll have to see how that goes. I know very little about it.
All joking aside, though, if they are looking for early adopters that would beta test, review, and maybe for a discount or something like that, I'd definitely be interested.
Right.
Same.
I've currently got I'm a FFL license as well with a SOT tax for manufacturing as well. So I'm allowed to make fun stuff with guns.
Oh yeah.
You're lucky. My FFL license is pending.
Oh, there you go. Yeah. You definitely wanted in if there's a new change in government in the next year. There's a good chance a lot of those time frames are going to go up or be put on hold from a lot of what I've heard.
It's not going to stop manufacturing.
No, it's not. No, but it's gonna delay a lot of people getting licenses to do it more easily.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, trust me, COVID has put a big stop on how fast that's been going.
Yeah. Yeah. Did you do it separately, or did you go through like ffl123.com or anything like? Okay, yeah. So you went with Brandon then. Yeah, Brandon's very helpful.
Yep. Yeah, we got it in there. I think we did. It was a FFL Class 7 with the OUA rider.
Okay.
I see that, Amy. You can throw it away.
Why is this here?
That's a beard comb.
Yeah.
very helpful for me.
That's your air assist. You blow in one end and make an air curtain with the other.
Laughing about that beard comb, I saw someone that had some blanks for that they were laser etching, and they can't keep them in stock. They are selling them, quicker than they can keep them in stock. I didn't realize there was such a market for beard combs, but
beards and mustaches are like very in right now.
Yeah.
I imagine that's partly to do with COVID, right? Like,
yeah.
At the beginning of COVID, I was like, I'm gonna do a COVID beard, and then we're like 3 months in, and I'm like, no, I'm not.
Yeah.
So Amy, the pump that comes with it, the air pump that comes with that machine, Amy, is actually an industrial aquarium pump. So that's why that thing comes with it. They just don't take it out of the box. That's so you can hook up multiple lines if you have a fish aquarium.
Oh, right. You did mention that before.
Yeah. So, that throws a bunch of people off.
Hey, Brian, I've got one question for you. Something I was reading in the Book of Thunder, right? All right. So I bought the 51 130 watt, and I noticed that the power supply for the breaker. So I'm gonna run a dedicated circuit for it. The power supply, including the chiller, is suggested as a 25 amp breaker.
Right.
It's only a 20 amp plug and only a 20 amp receptacle, right? So
Right.
we're saying rate the breaker at 25. I'll pull a number 10 wire to it, and then it'll be a 20 amp there.
Yeah. See, that's a little bit weird, and most people can run those on a single 20. At least I've heard people doing that. Me, I wouldn't. I'd run my chiller separate, but yours plugs into your machine.
That's what I was looking at, and you can't get anything on 120 volts higher than a 20 unless you go with like a RV plug with a 30, then it's a different
right.
Which I thought about doing and just putting a different plug on the end of it.
Yeah, but that's part of that stuff that they figured out the currents, the power consumption in China, and they don't know that we don't have a 30 amp outlet receptacle.
Yeah, and the other thing is they list it at 110 volts. And here we're sitting at 120, or me, I've got a dedicated supply to my shop, just got put in. I've got about 124 volts most of the time, so a little bit higher. The current draw is a little bit lower. What I'm not sure of is with everything running with the laser and everything, the fan, what the power factor is going to sit at. But if it's better than 0.9, I'm still just under 20 amps. So
I would say that 90% of people with 130 watt machines actually just run a dedicated 20 for everything. Travis, what are you running?
Sorry, what was that?
On your Nova, you got
cutting boards.
Yeah, you got a 130 watt machine, right? What's your power? Do you just run? Do you have two separate 20s, or how do you run in yours?
I actually have 3 separate 20s on mine because I've got a bunch of other equipment in here.
Okay, I got you.
So on all of my lasers, I run at least 2 20 amp outlets, even on my little 35. Because I run bigger air compressors, so I always have those on their own dedicated, and then all the rest of the laser stuff is on one.
Actually, I didn't even think about that. Yeah, I'm planning on putting a different air compressor anyway, so I'll plug the air compressor in separate. And because you're not controlling the air compressor coming on and off when you put a compressor, right? You just keep the pressure. So and then I can still have the automated side for the chiller run through the unit.
Now, even if you didn't want that, I'm sorry. Go ahead.
I was gonna say, for those of you who follow my videos, if you can hear it, my air compressor is actually running in the background right now.
What you running?
What was that?
What are you running?
I run they're California Air Tools. They're ultra silent in the soundproof cabinet.
Okay, is it the 810 or
8010? No, he's got the fully enclosed unit. It's
with
continuous
auto
duty.
It's got air dryers. They're like $2,400. I've got 3 of them now, and I absolutely love those things. They're little workhorses.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, they're continuous duty, aren't they?
Yep, they are. Yeah. They're actually designed for the medical field, is what they're used for.
Yeah.
Interesting. And then one other question I had, I ordered the full Rotoboss rather than just the Thunder one, right? Any differences, trade-offs? So the one thing I noticed is it's got the dual vertical adjustments, right? But is the full Rotoboss, it got the same Was it the lead shine servo motors, or is it different? Is it going to plug in the same, or?
All of the Rotobosses have the same motor on them, and they're all fully compatible, the 7-pin XLR. So it's plug and play.
Good.
Unless you have an older laser like mine and it gets sent with a 7-pin, and then you have to convert it to a 5.
Right. Right. Now, Jeremy, also, if there was an issue where you wanted to isolate your chiller, whether it be for noise or for whatever, you know, I'm talking about electrical line noise, if the compressor, we don't see that much, but I'm just saying, for instance, if you just wanted to get it on another circuit to balance your load or whatever, that's a standard IEC outlet on the back of that chiller. So you could always put a good 18 gauge, you know, PC cable
Cord,
on power cord on that, run it separate if you wanted to. And all of the alarm functions will still work.
Good. All right, good. It's good to know.
I have a quick one. Just I know I ended up going somewhere and listening to half of it. I ran 220 amps for what I got coming in, that 51-130, and it sounded like most people are doing everything on the single 20 amp. I'm not going to be hooking a compressor up at all because I have shop air that I'll be running. So I'm guessing I could basically plug everything in then into the 120 amp.
I think so.
Yeah.
I think so. You might be on the borderline, and it depends on, you know, whatever else is going on over there. But I'm just having to guess. I don't know. I don't have any real data on it, but I'm having to guess that most of these people that are getting these 130s are still just putting them on 20 amp outlets, just because that's what's going to be there.
Well, and I looked at the power consumption. So Glenn, I looked at the power consumption, did the math. I'm an electrical engineer, right? So I looked at it, right? With everything at 100% of its power consumption, right? They've calculated it based off of 110 volts, which we don't actually have in the U.S., right? You know, it's based off of 120 and then plus or minus a 5% tolerance. So, you know, that being said, right, if everything running, that's the chiller, the exhaust fan, the air, everything, you're just barely over 20 amps with everything at rated power. So, and then your breakers, right, will have a thermal heating cycle on them, right? So if you got a 20 amp breaker and you go to 20.5 amps, you have to sit at 20.5 amps for an amount of time for it to heat up to trip thermally.
Yeah.
All right. So yeah, you'll be more than fine.
Awesome. Appreciate it. Yeah, that's because as I was wondering if I had to, because I really wanted to hook the chiller and the fan up to the machine, but then I thought maybe I was going to have to separate them.
Nah.
But
are you going to use the stock fan? Are you going to
eventually
go with a cloud line? Because the axial inline fans have DC motors in them, so they use about a quarter of the power that those capacitors start centrifugal fans use. So that can be a benefit.
Yeah, no, I've actually got an 8-inch Hydra farm, and it's about at least 50 to 60% more CFMs than the Infinity line. So I actually just opted to go ahead and use this one since I already have it here.
Gotcha. Well, that'll help with all that too. So
yeah, I was worried about hooking the chiller and the fan up to the unit and having it turn it on, because then it would obviously be on 120 amp breaker. But it sounds like I'll be okay. So that's awesome.
And the reason, and the reason that they put the chiller on that laser, I don't know, for any of you guys that don't know, the chiller is actually on the laser power switch, which is underneath the main power switch. The main power switch feeds the laser power switch that used to only control the laser, so that you could turn it off. But there's a big contactor there, and they had enough headroom there that they could put the chiller on that circuit. So that's what they did. So if you ever have a condition where your chiller's not powering on, check your laser power switch, even though that doesn't make sense.
It'd be the laser and chiller power switch, right?
Right.
So,
right.
If only someone had a laser, you could actually print a new label and label it. See?
There you go.
Looking over at that.
Hey, Brian, I had another question as well.
Sure.
If you got time.
Sure.
I'm not sure how much life is left on my laser tube. I do have a replacement already.
Okay.
The guy had one, so I just grabbed it from him. I know that it wasn't putting out quite as much power when you came by to check it out, and I noticed he adjusted, I guess, a a pot in the power supply itself. Now he said he had it factory kind of upgraded to about 500 watts, which I don't know where you get a tube for 500 watts for that size machine, but I guess there's a little potentiometer in there that he's adjusting the power outage.
You can
if
do
I
that
change
to
the tube,
calibrate.
yeah, if I change the tube in right now, how am I going to adjust it back to where it should be for a new tube versus where it is from the old one?
You've got a milliamp meter. You should on the back of your machine.
It's tucked inside of it. Yeah.
Yeah. So you'll have to get a buddy if you want to dial it in. The other thing is typically our calibrations are done in the config for the controller for matching the power supplies to the lasers. So I'm not sure why they would want to adjust a pot in there. But there again, I haven't looked at the schematics of that Mars in a long time. So I may need to refresh my memory on that. Remind me about that in that ticket and we can address that too. And I'll look at it and see.
You want to buy a Mars 160?
Man, I don't have any room for lasers. I'm trying to get rid of them.
Hey, what kind of delivery times you got, Jay? You get it.
I'll put it on a truck and drive it.
Yeah, if I can get it before March, I might know a guy. Yeah. No. I think it was meth, right? So you trading it for meth or what?
Yeah. Right.
I'd like to get a new machine. That'd be great.
Cool. Well, all right, guys. I think I'm gonna jump off here if nobody has anything else. It's a little after 4.
I have another question before you jump off.
Sure. No.
So in the very back, in the very back of the bed, there's like still a zip tie back there. Can I leave that there?
No. What you need to do is take that
get it out.
I
really tried to do it, so I'd have to crawl in there.
Now, I don't know. You may have to put some cardboard down and get somebody to lean across or something to get that loose. Now, it's a good idea to take the
crane and like float in like James Bond. Like
yeah, you could suspend yourself.
All the way in the back.
Can you get it through the pass-through door, Brian, on the back?
I don't know. That's kind of tight. I think the pass-through door is only about 1.5 inches tall.
Yeah.
Yeah, that probably needs to come out because you need to check your bed and make sure that those blades that are underneath didn't get out of whack in shipment. We have had it where the bed wasn't sitting level, just during transport, it got jostled around or maybe a blade fell out. We've had people bend their blades in half when they go to drop the bed or the bed not be level just because it's not seated correctly. So it's a good idea to take that off and actually move. To take that bed out, the easiest way, once you get your wire tie off of there, is to lower the bed below into that second door, not the top door with the louvers on it, but get it down low enough where you can work on it from the bottom door, and you can slide it out like an oven rack. Yeah.
Oh. Let's try that.
So you'd have to bring it all the way down, probably. You may be able to get better access that way, but yeah, you'll have to get that off of there somehow. I don't think it's within the laser path, or you could just burn through it, but I think it's outside the laser path.
Those were the rails you're talking about, right? Can you see?
Yes.
Yeah, there's your slats that have fell out. Yeah.
Yep, that's why you need to check it.
So what am I supposed to do with those rails?
They slide back into place underneath the honeycomb. They support the honeycomb. You may see a few of them still in place.
Yes.
And there's 2 indexing pins on that honeycomb bed. You can lift it up a little bit and you'll see those 2 pins that lock it. Oh, you got the bed out already. Did you have the honeycomb pulled out or is it still?
No, it's
okay. I see it now. I see it. But that honeycomb will lift up without the wire tie, of course, and slide out. Yeah, you can pick that up.
Just lift up on that.
And then,
Beb, can you lift this?
Bye.
Yeah.
See you later,
Mark.
Have a good day.
So nice to see a nice clean bed.
It's supposed to slide out. Can you slide it?
Well, if you've got that wire tie still holding it in there, it's not gonna.
Oh, it's not going.
Yeah, but that's the idea. Unless you pull hard enough, but I don't know if I would suggest that.
No.
Can you cut that?
Got him, Jay.
Need a machete. Then it gives you the extended reach and the blade. See?
So.
So clearly I'm not as prepared as I thought I was.
Now, if you're going to operate a laser, you can't let a little wire tie get you down.
Well, no, that's not going to get me down. But what am I missing? Am I missing anything after that? I think.
Have you looked at the cheat sheet?
I'm good to go.
I'm gonna send you the. Have you looked at that important preparation, the cheat sheet?
I did.
Okay.
And I could have sworn I went through all of that, but apparently, like, I almost missed the foam.
Okay. Well, all that's in the manual. The setup. If you go to the manual, there's a step-by-step setup instructions.
Mm-hmm.
And it'll walk you through the entire process.
Let me close this one.
I'm glad that you caught that. I called it the Book of Thunder. I thought that's kind of neat. So I'm going to kill the recording. And we'll help Amy out for a little bit if anybody wants to hang around. If not, that's cool too.